Allison, you know what you are? You're repressed.
I'm not repressed.
Yes, you are.
Gary, I can be as spontaneous as anyone.
Prove it. What do you want me to do?
I don't have to prove anything to you.
You can't, because you're repressed.
You don't have to be stupid to be spontaneous, you know.
Repressed.
You think that's spontaneous, sticking your butt out of a car window?
Repressed! Face it, Allison, you're repressed.
You want spontaneity?
Repressed.
I'll give you spontaneity.
Repressed!
I'll give you, watch this! Gary, oh, hey, you guys! Oh my God! Listen, Sam!
All right!
Come to Mama, boys!
Oh, dang! Excellent.
I'm getting a hive.
Hello, welcome to the BENCHA Movie Club. I'm Charlie.
My name's Ben.
And each podcast we are focusing on a different film. And this week Ben has chosen The Sure Thing.
Right, before we start on this is a film from 1985, directed by Rob Reiner, starring John Cusack and Daphne Zuniga. The plot is about a college freshman called Walter Gibb. He decides to go cross-country during the winter break. Awaiting there is a bikini-clad blonde bombshell whom his friend assures him is a sure thing. Meanwhile, Alison, a cute but somewhat retentive girl at Gibbs College, has also decided to head out to California to see her boyfriend during break. Gibb and Alison are thrust together on a road trip from hell, and somewhere along the way they start to see each other in a way they never see before. So, right, I love this film. This is a film that I saw years ago, so I'm starting off with that. I made you watch it, so it would be quite interesting to see how you will see this film. It's, I think I was about 11 or I think that must have been about 12, 13, 14 maybe when I see this film. To me, it's like a proper 80s, like a John Hughes type kind of film. It's really well cast. It's got a really good storyline, and yeah, I still love it to this day. So I'll be interested to sort of see what your opinions are on it. You're sitting there smirking. It's like, I thought this is the first one I think I forced you to watch that you've not seen before, and I take it you've never seen this film before then.
No, I knew of it. Obviously, being when I was younger, I remember you really liked all those coming of age 80s teen things, and I see pictures of it, and I'm sure I've been in the room when you was watching it, but I never actually sat down and watched it myself. You know, because I was.
So you like when we was younger and all that, you used to watch like quite a lot of the 80s films that I watched.
Yeah, I did. But I mean, I watched loads of films, but it just happens to be one of the ones I hadn't watched.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to sort of see your take on it then, really.
I knew of it, like the same as I knew of Say Anything, which I think is probably the slightly more famous of the two. Of the two.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
that's the one where he's holding the stereo over his head.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I know I've seen that film, but I can't remember it, so I need to revisit that because I know our sister, our little sister Rose. I know she said, "Oh, I've just seen a really good film. Have you seen it? It's called Say Anything." And I thought, yeah, I know it, but like, if she's saying about how good it is, it must be a good film because, you know, have you seen it?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I'm just sort of shrugging at Rosie's recommendation because you know sometimes she likes things and you think it's okay. You know? And also she won't listen to my recommendations. Like I'll say to her, "You've got to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once," and she'll go, "Okay, no, we will. It's on there. It's on Amazon." And the next day she'll say, "Oh, have you seen this crappy film with Adam Sandler in it or something? Oh, it's really nice." I was like, "Why don't you watch the films I recommend?" "Oh, because a bloke at Kurt's Work said this was really good."
Oh, right.
I thought, well, why is his recommendation better than mine? Anyway, with this, The Sure Thing, I know when you recommended it, I thought, okay, well, it's one of those teen coming of age things. I knew it wasn't a John Hughes film because I'd looked at John Hughes's filmography fairly recently anyway. So
I think you've seen all the main John Hughes, all the main sort of teen angst
all
kind of
80s ones. Yeah, I've seen all them throughout my life.
Because he only done them for a short period of time. I think while working with Molly Ringwald, I think then they sort of ended. Then he went on to a different kind of, it's like Home Alones and that kind of stuff, didn't he?
What I noticed about The Sure Thing when you recommended it, I straight away looked on IMDb just for like a general idea, consensus of what's rated, who's involved. And as soon as I see it was directed by Rob Reiner, that perked my interest more. I thought, oh, I like Rob Reiner.
Okay, what do you like him from?
So he done Spinal Tap, then he done this, then he done... It was like a run of 6 great films. So Spinal Tap, Sure Thing, Stand By Me.
Yes.
Which is a great film. Princess Bride, which has got loads of...
I've heard a lot about that, but I've not actually...
Yeah, I mean...
I've not seen it. It's supposed to be really good.
You probably might have seen it.
No, I don't think I have. But I've looked into it because I think I've once Googled what's a film like this kind of film, and like, you know, if I've really loved a film, I've gone, what other films are like, sort of, I don't know, like whatever the film's like. And I remember that come up a couple of times, and I thought, it's a recommendation, and I've looked at the reviews for it. It's really good reviews, and I thought, well, it sounds like my cup of tea. It's just I've not got into it. I know that when I watch it, I think I will really like it. Yeah, because it's Rob Reiner's got he's not sort of over the top. No. Slapstick kind of comedy. He likes it to have sort of Princess Bride, sort of like a romantic comedy in a way. You've got this romance in it, and it's very clever, and it's not sort of ramming its intelligence down your throat. You know, it's like Sure Thing's clever. Yeah. You know, but he gives them realistic characters, like great characters that you can get behind. So then, he done Princess Bride. Then he done When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, of course, that's a good one. And then he done Misery. Yes. So you're writing off all the stuff, because I actually wrote all the things that he directed, and you're reading them all off, and I'm thinking, you've just sold it off me. But what I'm thinking, and then A Few Good Men. Now, I knew all them films, I knew he directed them, but it's only looking through this I realised it was one after the other, because you know, sometimes if you look through a director's filmography, you'll often find, even with like really famous ones like Hitchcock and Spielberg and Tarantino and whoever and Scorsese, you think, oh, they've done a great film, then they've done another great film, then that one was a bit crap. Yeah, actually, all them ones you've just read off, you've heard of them, or you've seen them, and they're all like top of the game. They're all really good films. They're not like, oh, I don't really know that one. It's sort of faded in the distance. They're all still relevant today. They're all still films that are still watched today. It's a name that you don't hear as much as like sort of like Steven Spielberg and like the likes of him. It's like Rob Reiner is a fantastic director, but it's like he's not as celebrated. I mean, he is celebrated, obviously, but he's not out there as much as like a lot of people wouldn't know his name. Like a highbrow type of way, like you would with a Stanley Kubrick or Scorsese or someone like that. Like all them. But he's more like a Mel Brooks type, you know, like a... Is Mel Brooks a director? Yeah. Oh, is he? I just thought he was an actor. No, Mel Brooks, writer, director. He done like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. It's all that sort of old... Is he in the Muppet movie, Mel Brooks? I imagine he is. This is my point with Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner's probably one. I think he's the one that tries to electrocute Kermit the Frog. Is that him? Yes. That's him. Yes. See, that's who I know him from the Muppet movie. So if you ever interview him, you just talk. Oh, I loved you in the Muppet movie. Yeah. Tell me, what's Miss Piggy like? Well, I ain't going to talk to you. Let me just talk to him then. Yeah. But the funny thing is, they often like that, because they think when someone interviews someone, and they'll go, oh, let's just talk to them about their most famous things. Yeah. I think it's better. It's like when I spoke to Tim Curry and I told him about how much I loved Clue. Yeah. And The Worst Witch. Yeah. I didn't mention Rocky Horror. Yeah. But you love him, really. Oh, I love him with Rocky Horror. Rocky Horror, I think, is probably your... But this is the thing. He's not your best role then, Rocky Horror? No, for me it's Clue. Because when I was a kid, I didn't see Rocky Horror till I was about 12, 13. Right. When I was younger than that, I'd seen Worst Witch and Clue loads of times, and I noticed him in both of them, and I was like, oh yeah, I like him. He's a good actor. I like Home Alone 2 he's in as well, isn't he? And Home Alone 2, yeah. I would have watched this years ago if I knew it was a Christmas film, which it kind of is. Is it a Christmas film? Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, you wouldn't think of it as a Christmas film, but you think in California they never really have a. It has got a Christmas feel to it, actually. Yeah, it's got because it's the winter months and all that. Yeah, and they're singing the Christmas carol at the bar.
And they even mentioned, said, "Oh well, this side of Christmas or something. I'll get there for
That's
Christmas."
right, because they're obviously on their break, their winter break, so it's the Christmas break.
I think if he sort of doubled down on it, if Rob Reiner had really pushed the Christmas theme a bit more and stuck decorations up, it probably would have heightened the profile of the film.
Yeah.
Because you think at Christmas time, people try and discover, like Trading Places is now a Christmas film considered. Because
Gremlins is a Christmas film.
Oh, Gremlins definitely is. I would say Gremlins is more of a Christmas film than Home Alone, Die Hard, any of them. You can't say Batman Returns is a Christmas film. But it's like
actually, if he had sort of emphasised more on the Christmas theme of it, I think then it would have been that kind of film that had been pulled out each year.
Yeah,
and also that way it would have got discovered by more people, because I think it's one of them films that not a lot of people. I mean, it's got a massive following. It's a really well loved film, and even to this day, people still love the film.
Yeah,
but I don't think enough people know it.
Yeah,
that it should have been more out there than. There's lots of films that don't deserve to be out there that you think, how the fuck is that still running? How are people still watching that? Whereas this, I think this people would come away from this film going, oh, it's really nice. I really like that. It's a nice feel good. It makes you feel you don't feel like, oh shit, like I feel depressed after watching it.
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, if he had gone more with the Christmas angle, you wouldn't have had to change the story at all. All you could have, maybe like the party at the end, you have someone dressed as Santa walking about, getting drunk,
and in like the bus station, maybe some decorations up,
or some mistletoe somewhere or something like that, and they might look at it as just a few little things like that where you wouldn't actually have to change the story. No. Bit of tinsel in someone's car, things like that. You go, oh, that's one of my favourite Christmas films. I love that. It's such a good feel-good Christmas film,
and it has got a feel-good Christmas film about it. Then
and I just. Whenever I think that with things, because like I said, when it comes to the Christmas season, people go so full on, they're so desperate, they're just tired of watching the same Christmas films, they think, I want to watch something else, but it just sort of feels he's got those two little hints there that where he sets
it's
it
weird, because I never would have put Christmas and this film together, but now you mention it, it's that kind of story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like with Planes, Trains and Automobiles, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd pushed it back for the Christmas thing, that would have been a much bigger film. I mean, loads of people know it, but I think it would have elevated it a little bit more.
See, Thanksgiving, I think, is bigger than Christmas in America.
It is, but they're not in the rest of the world.
No. And Christmas is bigger everywhere else apart from...
I think it's probably toe-to-toe with Christmas, because... If you look at their... Obviously...
Whenever you see like a comedy series, they're always really big on the Thanksgiving. You don't ever really see them doing Christmas episodes. They do like a big Thanksgiving like with Friends, Frasier, Cheer, all them kind of...
They've all had Christmas episodes, huh?
Yeah, but I don't think their Christmas episodes are like emphasised as much as their Thanksgiving. It seems as though that is the big... thing in America.
It might be where I'm just speculating, but with Thanksgiving it's one of those things where they are indoors. The family is indoors all the time.
So but Christmas the family's indoors.
Yeah, but not always as much. I'm just saying they do, but then there's so many other things you can do at Christmas. You have Christmas parties, and there is still, if you look at American films, there's still a lot more Christmas films than there are Thanksgiving films.
Yeah.
Maybe it's with TV, like at Christmas time people go out to the cinema. At Thanksgiving they're like, we're not going to cinema, we're all the family get together, we're not going anywhere, have your turkey, let's see what's on telly.
I would have put it the other way around. I would have thought the other way around it would have been more.
No, well, you're wrong.
Also, right, the budget of this film was 4.5 million and it made 18.1 million,
which is okay.
It's a good. That's good. If you think as well, 85, that's not 18.5 million for nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I looked at the budgets and the box office for a number of other films, teen films, for comparison. Something that done a lot better for a lot smaller budget. Breakfast Club was only a $1 million budget and it made 51 million. So that's
iconic though.
And but I mean, obviously they weren't trying to make a film and go, let's hope it's not as big as Breakfast Club. Obviously they want to be as big as that because Breakfast Club was just before this.
It's 84, I think.
Yeah, so obviously, but for things like Breakfast Club, which made this people more likely to greenlight films like this, they go, we got to get those teen films. 16 Candles was a bigger budget though, 6.5 million, and made 23 million. So that's about a similar return. Weird Science, 7.5 million, brought back 39 million.
Right. So the biggest one there is Breakfast Club.
Well, Ferris Bueller
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest.
You don't like him though, do you?
No, but only because of what happened in Ireland, where there was the incident where he was with, was it Jennifer Grey, was his girlfriend at the time? No, from Dirty Dancing.
Yes, but they was in this film together. It was Ferris Bueller, so you reckon they probably was promoting this film?
Well, possibly. I think it was
If
about...
they're together, they're both in that film, so that's, I think that's the only film that they've been together in.
Yeah, so that was in Ireland, where obviously you drive on the other side of the road, and he was driving on the wrong side of the road, crashed into a car, killed loads of people. Him and Jennifer Grey survived. She lost her nose.
That was through choice.
Yeah. Well, she should have waited till the accident, because then she could have had an excuse. Cause like, I had to.
Well, you know what? I think that sort of stumped her career, because you don't. She's in an episode of Friends. She plays Mindy. Right early on, she's Rachel's bridesmaid. The very first time you see Rachel's bridesmaid Mindy, she's got the same haircut exactly as she has in Dirty Dancing. You look at her, you would never know that was her. It's that nose that obviously was a thing for her that she wasn't comfortable with, but it wasn't. I don't think it was as bad as what she thought it was. No. It gave her face. It made her. But basically she had that done, and I think she looked pretty, but she just looked very like sort of forgettable as well. Like it didn't. She actually had nothing to make her stand out. But it shows that one little thing you can change on your face, it can change your whole face, and I think that's why her career, because her career was going pretty well, and she probably still would be up there. I mean, not saying she's not acting and all that now, but I don't think that done her any favours. But if she feels good about it, then I suppose it's up to her, innit? But it did change her. Yeah, but her looks. It's your imperfections that sort of make it. It's like if you say Marilyn Monroe's beauty spot, or Cara Delevingne, who's a relatively new model. Everyone knows her for her eyebrows. She's got these big, massive, over-the-top eyebrows. Right. So you have this one sort of thing on their feature, one thing on their face, whether it's their ears, their neck, their nose, their hair, something that would be considered odd, but it's on a beautiful person. Yeah. So it makes them, and some. But then also, that's on the other side of that. If someone's got insecurities about something, but it doesn't matter how lovely that they look. So they won't listen, and it's like they think that if it's going to make them feel better, then they'll do it. Right. So, for example, I'm bald. Now I could get hair plugs, I could get a toupee, I could get a wig, but I just think no, I like it. I'll keep it. I'll just keep my head shaved. You've got a decent shaped head. Like out of the three brothers, you've got the best shaped head. As I said, when I think I was 27, someone took a photo of the top of my head, because when you look in the mirror, you only look straight on. Yeah. So you're looking straight on, you think, yeah, it looks fine. Yeah. And I see the bald bit at the back, which you can't see in the mirror. And your wife never told you at the time? Well, she saw, yeah, it has a bit of finch on. What? But as soon as I knew, I went, right, okay, I'll get some clippers. Yeah, that's one thing that you've never sort of tried to sort of like make it last, like having comb overs and stuff. You literally got rid of it straight away. No, but then that's probably when growing up, always hearing mum go, look at his stupid comb over, look at his stupid hair, look at that stupid wig. Yeah. Who's he fooling? Look at Elton John's stupid hair and things like that. So the thing is, I think if you like, just embrace it and just think, okay, well, I'm going to go bald, and but this is what I think. I think you look weird with hair now. That's the thing. It's like I think if you had hair. I mean, people get used to it. I think it's where people are used to you with not having any hair. But everyone who I've shown, like people who've only known me bald, and I've shown them photos of me with hair, they're like, oh, no, you're much better bald. Yeah. You know. See, some people suit bald, and I think you suit bald rather than with hair. But regardless, I think you should embrace what you are given. So, for example, if you're going grey, you know, go grey. Yeah. Don't dye your hair, because... Is that aimed at me? Yeah. No, but you know, like if you dyed your hair all mousy brown all of a sudden. No. If you just sort of accept whatever you're given and just be honest about it. I mean, like someone like Cher has always been honest. She sits and goes, "Oh, I've been under the knife with this," and she looks good. Cher. I think like she's a good example. See, a lot of them, they get to a certain stage, and then they have that one procedure that goes that little bit too far, that you look and they look fantastic, you think little and often, all of a sudden they go for that one procedure. It's like you've just jumped the shark there, you know. You've just literally, there's something, you've done something, you've gone for that little bit more. You can now see you now blend in with everyone else. You look the same as everyone else now. You've got that plastic surgery look. Now good surgery is when you can't tell that they've had it done. Yeah, but I also think with the surgery thing, so obviously your body's constantly changing. It's constantly, gravity's dragging all your skin down, dragging everything down. So you'll have like
you'll start off having like the Botox or something like that.
See, that's why I could never have Botox. Because I know, like, I think even my dentist said, "Oh, like, I do this Botox." I said, "I ain't gonna." What are you telling
Why
me?
would your dentist do Botox?
Exactly. But and I've gone, no, I ain't gonna do that. I'll tell you the reason why I'm not doing that. Because if I start going down that road, when I stop doing that, people can go, "Fucking hell, didn't you look rough? Didn't you look old?" It's like, whereas if I just naturally grow old, I'm going to be growing old.
Well, this is what I was saying. As soon as you start having stuff like that, yeah, when your skin's that young, say like you start having it done at your 40 or something, your skin's young enough that it can get away with it. But as your skin's sagging more, suddenly the Botox ain't enough.
No.
Suddenly you have to start having things pinned back.
Well, you notice people's faces seem to sag when they stop having Botox and they're older. It's like they get this sagginess to their face.
Because their muscle hasn't had to do any hard work. It hasn't had to hold anything up. So now, because all this other stuff, this poison's been holding it up, you need to keep putting it in.
Look at our mum, for example, right? Our mum, she's 72 next month.
Yeah.
She looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And everyone that sees her goes, I don't, but she's never, ever had anything done.
No.
She's totally against it. Like our sister's totally against it. And like, I mean, with our sister, I've never seen a more beautiful bride than Rosie on her wedding day. And she's not, she knocks spots off of all of them bloody sort of footballers' wives or them celebrity type of bloody towy lot. Because she's natural. And the thing is, it's like, people go down that road with surgery and it's like they just don't know where to stop, because then they will find another thing and another thing and another thing, and that way they're never going to be satisfied because there's always going to be something else.
Yeah. So
anyway, let's talk about the film. Yeah, go on.
Well, back to what I was saying.
Right.
So they had a car crash, right?
What was this about?
Ferris Bueller.
Oh, right, yes.
So, God, what's his name?
Matthew
Broderick. Matthew Broderick. So Matthew Broderick had the car crash, killed like this half of this Irish family. I think the guy survived. I don't know if it was his wife, his sister, or his mum, or all three. And
so half of the family was killed.
Yeah,
in the car
and
crash. This is all documented. Right. Okay.
So then he had to pay. Like he went to court. He ended up. He got off with it like £100 fine or something really ridiculous.
Well, that's not good.
Flew back to America, and the guy who survived, who lost all these family members, he just wanted to meet him. He just wanted some closure. He wanted to know what happened, because he just wanted to know. Matthew Broderick's never got back to him about it. Never wanted to speak to him. And he's even gone on to advertise cars out in America.
Yeah, and you know what though, this whole Hollywood thing. I mean, last few years my eyes have been opened massively to things that go on, and it's actually scary. There's part of me that I want to shut my ears to it. There's stuff that goes on that you think, like, has this been allowed, and how is it still going on? And it's like you go down that rabbit hole, then you're not going to come out. You know what I mean? You're going to see things that you'll never be able to unsee, and you're going to hear things that you will never be able to get out of your brain. But anyway, and that's also about some of our big top Hollywood stars that, you know, that there's this cloud that hangs over a few people, that there's no smoke without fire. And you think, well, why has this person always been pulled up as though like a pedo or something like that? Or that's to do with this...
Mum won't listen to this now. She'll switch it off at that point.
No. You know, for example, that island that it was all going to, Jeffrey Epstein's island. There was lots of big celebrities there going there, but it was like, did they all know? Was there different parts of the island that they wouldn't have known this? Are they involved in this?
Well, this is it. They don't know.
You don't know.
Keep their mouth shut, otherwise it will affect their career.
But then you think, yeah, but it's affecting their career because they've got these stories hanging around. So you go out and you go, I had nothing to do with this. I did not know about it. You're not going to sit there and be quiet, because silence is...
Would that be a lie, though? Because you can't go to that island and not know. Even if you go, I'm not getting involved in this, you know, but you also...
But we're talking top people have gone to that island.
But that's why the people who aren't top, like, say, like, they might be an A-list actor, but they go somewhere where there's the richest people in the world, the most powerful people in Hollywood doing these things. You really think they're then going to go, right, I'm going to say what's happened here. They'll keep their mouth shut for their own sake, because they think, well, they'll destroy my career, possibly even kill me.
I mean, surely,
but
but also you've got to look, and they think, okay, I might not work again, but I think in the long run, people will respect you more, and you will work again because you will be working with the right people rather than working with...
It's nice.
You don't want to sell your soul to the devil.
No, it's nice to think, but you also think the mindset of someone who wants to be famous. Someone who wants to be famous will do almost anything, and they can keep their mouth shut. But back to Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
I can't ever say it properly. As I said, 5 million budget, 70 million it took home. So that's one of the biggest ones I've mentioned so far.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty in Pink was a budget of 9 million, took home 40 million. Risky Business was 6.2 million. That took home 63 million.
Oh, that's good as well.
Now, I've never seen Risky Business.
I know the bit with him. I've seen
Sliding
it.
on this.
Yeah, he slides with his pants and the white shirt.
Adventures in Babysitting, 7 million budget, 34 took home. Say Anything, which is the one you want to compare to this. So this was obviously Sure Thing was made for 4.5 and it made 18 million in the box office. Say Anything was 16 million.
It cost.
It cost 16 million.
A lot.
It was a lot. And it took home 20 million, which you think it's only 2 million on this. So this was actually made more money.
Made more money, yeah.
Footloose, 8.2 million.
That's a big one, I bet. Yeah, that's high.
80 million it made.
Yeah.
So that beats Ferris
Well,
Bueller.
because you know that name still today.
But
Footloose.
you know what? Which one beat them all on a budget of 5 million? Porky's.
That's because that was the closest thing we had to nudity back then.
That made 160 million.
Really?
Yeah.
How much? What was the budget for Porky's?
5 million.
5 million.
It's about the same budget as
Bloody
this.
hell! See, that's sex sells, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Dirty perverts.
Oh, also, right. So, Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think these got by the reviewers, by the critics?
Well, I know that is well received. I know critics love it, and it often comes in lists. So I'm going to say critics 85%.
86. You're looking at my thing, ain't you?
I swear to God, I never looked. Right, 85.
Right, audience.
Well, I would have said 86 if I said anything.
No, because you're trying
audience,
to make
right, I'm looking up there.
Right.
Audience. Now, I think the audience loved it too, so I'll put it about the same, 85.
79 audience.
What do
It's
they
still
know?
good though. 86 for the reviews and the critics. 79 for the audience. Still, it's well received.
What's it on IMDb?
I think they're all about 6 or 7 on IMDb. I don't think it's really one to really go by. Right, there's a few facts, like scene things. The scene where Gibb teaches Alice. What are you being a prick for?
I'm not, I'm just closing my book, I don't need it now.
Right, a couple of facts about the film. There's the scene where Gibb teaches Alison to shotgun a beer was added to the script after John Cusack told Rob Reiner that it was something he knew how to do. Which I think I must have tried that. I think I did try it with a can
Should
of
we try
Coke.
it now?
No,
Live on the
I ain't got
podcast.
no cans of drink. And also, Robin Wright, who was Jenny in Forrest Gump, she auditioned for the role of this, but she impressed Rob Reiner so much with her audition, he then went on to star her in Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And Rob Reiner refused to audition John because of his age, because he was 16, but then when he see him, he went, right, he's the one for me, because it reminded him of himself.
Because he's fat and bald.
Yeah. And also, this is a bit of a weird one now. John Cusack had to be legally emancipated from his parents to shoot this film, as he was underage and still at school, so the producer became his legal guardian.
Yeah, that's with...
So he divorced his mum and dad for this film, is that?
It's not like he actually divorced them as if like, I don't like you anymore. You become emancipated so someone else can be your legal guardian. Now, unless his parents were going to be on set with him all over the place, wherever he is.
Right. No, it's because he was still at school. So it's basically so that he could get out of school.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the film, who was it who's his legal guardian?
The producer.
Yeah. So the producer's obviously on set all the time, so he can then decide what he's doing. He's not his owner, but his parent. So he then gets to say.
So it's not
where
as weird
he
as what it sounds then.
No, I mean.
Because when I heard that, I thought it's a bit weird.
No.
But I know there's lots of stars that have divorced their parents, like young.
Culkin.
Yeah.
But that was for different things. That's to do with things like worrying about
Their
the money and stuff like that. This was totally... You think if you're supporting your child and this was like his first big lead. This was his first lead role, I think. He'd been in a couple of things in the background or as a small character.
Right.
So you imagine his parents, you got a 16-year-old son, 17-year-old son. I got the lead in this film.
Well, you'd let him do it.
It's Rob Reiner, who just done This Is Spinal Tap, which was big at the time.
Because if he'd done a couple of films before, this is passion, and he's got a lead role in something. So you'd go, Yeah,
Well, exactly.
do it.
As a parent myself, I'll be
He's got famous sisters as well. His sister, is it Joan Cusack?
Joan Cusack, yeah.
She's in loads of stuff, isn't she?
Yeah, she's quite quirky looking. She's funny. She's quite quirky.
You know her face.
She had small parts in like 16 Candles. She plays Gig Girl 1.
Oh, you know, I recognise. I think I know who she is. I think there's a woman with a big brace round her mouth.
Yeah, she's had consistent work, and then like as she's getting older now, she does a lot more voice work.
Right.
My Sister's Keeper, and as I said, Jessie in the Toy Story franchise.
Right. Okay.
Which is it's a big deal to get like a voice thing in things like that, because they make a lot of money, the animated stuff.
And it doesn't matter how old you get. I mean, look at the Simpsons. They've been doing it for like 40 years.
God, I mean, how old?
30 odd years.
How old must they all be now?
Is it 1990? Simpsons,
yeah.
89.
Well,
90.
it was technically 89, but I think there was only one episode was shown in 89 at Christmas.
But it's still sad, but that's what I'm saying. It started in the 80s though, because it was on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah, oh yeah. So they was all been like 30s, 40s or whatever. So now there's 70s, 80s. If you listen to Simpsons now,
Margie's voice has changed massively. You can hear, but then she's an old lady now. She's probably got to be in her 80s.
Oh man!
And that's quite a croaky voice. That's quite a hard.
I think they should have stopped Simpsons 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it.
They won't know. They won't stop it while it's still making money.
It's it. But they've changed those the voice actors now as well.
Well, Apu can't talk now on it because
none of the minority actors are voiced by.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. If they've been going like that for all these years, and the people like was it all the Indians loved Apu? They wasn't offended by it being voiced by a white guy. You know, it's like I just think we're in a bit of a weird time at the moment that you've got to be really careful what you say. So I should really just shut my mouth now because I start saying things I shouldn't really be saying. Anyway, right, that takes me on to this. So, what did you think of this film?
Look at your face. No, I liked it. No, it's good.
You did like it then,
I did like it. No,
I used to really fancy Daphne Zuniga in this. I thought she was something about her. I liked the character of her. Like there was like that kind of. When I was younger, I had two extreme tastes in girls. Right, I liked really tarty, sort of busty kind of like Cleo Rocker, Samantha Fox type of girls. Yeah, heavily made up and like big hair, big boobs. Or there was that kind of like Alison from this sort of thing.
Mousy sort of.
Yeah, like that kind of like sort of really sort of intelligent, pretty kind of sensible kind of girl. So it was like you couldn't have got two more extremes.
Yeah, I think she was much more of an appealing prospect than the Shaw thing, Nicolette.
She's like what you'd think would be like the Shaw thing, the beautiful blonde, like toned, tall, tanned, you know.
No,
you can see where they're going with it. I mean, she was attractive. Sorry, go on, I'm interrupting you again. Go on.
Keep going.
No, go on.
I think that she was more of the main girl was more of an interesting prospect from the beginning. She's prettier. And that Nicolette Sheridan, when they had the flashbacks of her in the photo, I just personally, for me, I don't like that sort of young girl type look. I know loads of blokes do. She looks like a child to me.
Yeah, but do you think that's because you've got a daughter of 16?
No, as I said, no, because this film, as I said, I never watched it, but I remember the case. You had the case in your room,
yeah,
right, and it had her on it.
She was on the front cover, yeah.
I looked at it once and thought, well, maybe she's attractive in the film. She doesn't look all that to me. Whereas I'd look at other things like Sam Fox and think, ooh, yeah, look, she looks like a proper woman. Yeah. You know,
I think that might be because we've come from a family of like that was all very big chested, like naturally big chested, in the female side of on our mum's side.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably like why. I mean, George, our brother, is always gone. Oh, I've got this big thing about big boobs and all that. Like his wife's got massive boobs. It's like, and I guess that probably stems from mum's side really, because they're all quite busty, aren't they? Anyway, yeah. So my
impression of the film, as I said, I was excited because I knew it was Rob Reiner. I like John Cusack. Watching this, funny enough, I like him even more now. I could see why he got successful after this.
Oh, he's very good in this film.
He's very good.
He plays himself, basically.
Yeah, and I got the feeling there was loads of ad-libbing because of how natural the delivery was. Which you think, as a young actor in particular, when they're reading the script, unless you've got world experience, it's hard to get that. But you can see like the way they're talking and stuff, and with the beer, shotgun in the beer. So I liked that idea, the prospect. Then I started watching the film, and I think for about the first 5-10 minutes, I wasn't sort of getting into it straight away. I was thinking nothing against it. I was just watching it, almost like, okay, I better watch this. And there was nothing different from other teen like films.
Yeah.
But then when it turned to like the road trip aspect of it, I thought, okay, well, I like road trip films anyway, and when they're now forced together, the chemistry between them two, they are believable.
Yeah.
They're totally believable. They're very well cast. You can't imagine like
anyone
else
else playing
casting
them.
No. They're obviously young. They're obviously at that age where they're sort of thinking, well, we got to get into a relationship, and I get to sleep with this girl, which is what guys' mentalities are. Men, like young boys, think, who can I have sex with? Where can I have sex? Oh, she's sexy, I want to have sex with her. Whereas a girl would be thinking, I want a mature man, I want stability, I want this kind of like someone sensible and smart and intelligent, which is how they both start off. But then they realise he doesn't want like the sex and stuff like that. He wants to be now in a relationship. And she's realising, I don't want this stuffy older man, I want someone my age who's young and having fun.
Yeah, because she starts doing stuff like she does thing with a beard, doesn't she?
Yeah.
With her boyfriend, looks at her as though like,
or when she
utter shock.
Yeah.
Or she burps. Yeah, she does it and she burps.
And it's totally believable, the progression of it. It's not like all of a sudden she starts acting wild. She'll have those little moments. I like it when he goes and she flashes the truck drivers.
Yeah.
You can see it building up to that.
Yeah.
It's like a boiling point moment, and then Tim Robbins, of course, chucks him out of the car.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed it. I liked the pacing of it.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, the whole way. I think it's very good, well paced. It was
I think you should shout to Lily. I think she'd like it.
I'm gonna. I thought
because I've said to you before, I watched this and I think it's one of the ones you just like skirted over. That's why I think I've made it for the podcast. And I know I've done lots of DVDs for you once, and like Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, all that kind of stuff. And this is one that I thought goes hand in hand with all them.
Yeah. This ending I felt was very abrupt on the Sure Thing. I liked how it ended. I like the fact that it ended abruptly.
What more could it have ended? How else could it have ended?
This is my point. I like this. This is what makes it different to so many other films in a way. You know, like, okay, they've got together, right? They literally get to, so the teacher reads out in the classroom, and then she realises he hasn't slept with her,
Sure Thing,
and then she's splitting up with her boyfriend. So then they have that little face to face in the classroom. Then it dissolves to them outside for their kiss.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That is good. I like that. And I like that it was an abrupt ending. I thought, good. I'm glad they finished it there, because often with films, what they'll do then, they'll have his friend coming out and go, so you got together, hey, and have like some joke, or she'll do something like, oh, Dad.
I think it's a lovely ending.
I like how it ended.
Yeah.
It's transitioned from the classroom, and it's literally just them two.
Yeah.
And you think,
I love that ending.
No, it's great.
And that
ending.
song at the end is one of my favourite songs, and it is not on any.
What song?
It's called "Just Because" by Ray Charles, and it's such a beautiful song, and the lyrics in it are beautiful, and it's just such a lovely song. You can't get it nowhere.
I never paid attention at that point, to be honest, because the film had ended. Mum was watching it with me as well.
Oh, did she like it?
Yeah, she's seen it before. What she said, because I said I'm going to watch Sure Thing, right? So I put her. She's off in her own little world, not really paying attention. She's sort of walking through. She's looked at the film. I can't remember what part it was, but she's looked at the film for a few seconds, and she went, "Oh, Ben likes this film."
See.
So she's obviously had a flashback to when you was a kid watching it, thinking, "Oh, he likes this film."
Yeah. Right. So thank you very much for listening, and please follow us on what are we on? Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. And it's BENCHA Movie Club. And if you've got any suggestions, please let us know. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day, night, wherever you are. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.